Thanks for joining us and welcome to OpenInfra Live, the Open Infrastructure Foundation's hour-long interactive show sharing production, case studies, open source demos, industry conversation, and the latest updates from the global open source community. We're live here on Thursdays at 1400 UTC, streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. My name is Helena Spies from the Open Infra Foundation and organizer of the Austin Open Infra User Group, and today I'll be your host. Like I mentioned, we are streaming live and we'll be saving some time at the end of the episode for some Q&A. So feel free to drop questions in the comments section throughout the show, and we will answer as many as we can. Today, we are joined by Alvaro Soto, organizer of OpenInfra Days Mexico, Song-Soo Cho, organizer of OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Korea, as well as OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Asia, Dr. Abhishek Chulia, organizer of the Thai Open Infrastructure User Group, Dr. Hussein Chodak, organizer of OpenInfra Days Turkey. Before we begin, I would like to thank the members of the OpenInfra Foundation for their ongoing support of the OpenInfra community and foundation. Without their support, this wouldn't be possible. Let's go ahead and get started. Alvaro, over to you.
Hey guys, thank you for the invitation and happy to be here talking about our our user group. I wanted to show you guys a little bit about what have we done with the user group in Mexico, and we want to do it with the user group in Chile. Um, about us is we are like four friends that we started we are really passionate about open source, and we started like joining together and talking about technologies. Um, at some point we managed to work together all in the same company, but at the moment we are like separate across different countries. So we are, like I said, four people. Is Guillermo Alvarado, Francisco Araya, Gloria Palma, and I. So our history is like a little bit fun because this is the first time that we organize the OpenInfra Days in Mexico City as a community. Uh, like the first edition of the OpenStack Days was done for a really big company here in Mexico. When we got the invitation to organize this event here in Mexico, it was like a little bit scary for us, but we managed to get through. We had like a wonderful time um, working with the foundation and with a lot of people that, without even having like nothing to do with technology, they managed to help us and create a great event. Um, we managed to have like and to exceed all all the expectation that we had with the event. So it was really fun for us to organize. It was really hard work also, but I believe it was like really fun creating this event in our community and be able to create this like we said in, to a lot of people. Like it was a community event created for the community by the community. So it was an live, sorry, pre-recorded event, but it was free. Like I said, exceeded all the expectations for like virtual events. So again, it was really fun for us. Can you please go to the next slide? Um, these slides are really big fun for me because I started like getting together all the URL from the community, and at some point I needed to stop because we have so many URLs. We want to have like to get together like a bunch of people with a lot of technologies, and we try to use a lot of like open source technology doing so. So we have like I believe maybe 5 years ago we started our Slack channel for our community in Mexico City. When we, again, as a community, we host the Ops meetup here in Mexico City, and we started evolving since that. Our Slack channel is like a place to get together across Latin America, because we have a bunch of like other people in Chile, Mexico. There is a official, well, not that official, but the CEF Foundation is aware of it. We link together like IRC and bring together the IRC to Slack, because there is a bunch of people that doesn't want to like use our IRC. So we managed to like to provide these kind of bridges for the community. Everything that we talk in the Slack that are related to OpenStack get out there to IRC, so it's logged. We have like mirrors for the community when we store like information, the slide from the OpenInfra Day. Twitter, we use a lot of open source technologies, like I said, um, and we have found a lot of companies that want to help us a little bit with this kind of like this kind of things that we are bringing together to the people. So you can like reach out to us using any of these URLs. Thank you again.
Thank you, Alvaro. Very interesting. I had the pleasure of actually participating in OpenInfra Days Mexico this year, and it was a very great event, and actually combined with a lot of other communities throughout Latin America. So it's great. Thank you for your support. Next, we will have Song Soo, who will talk about the Korea user group and their upcoming OpenInfra and Kubernetes or Cloud Native Days. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Helena. Hello, I'm Soo from OpenInfra Korea user group. Today, I will introduce OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Korea and talk about upcoming events of Korea user groups. So first of all, I will tell you about our user group. The Korea user group created in 2011 February. That is the very year after OpenStack was announced to the world. And our group are mainly active at Facebook group, but because the most of people use Facebook and it is easy to use and access. But however, the community accessibility is very low for the people who does not use Facebook. So we are making on our own user group website. And then our activities are similar to other user groups, but one special activity is the upstream contribution mentoring program. That is I will tell you about this later. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the OpenInfra Day Korea's timeline. The first OpenStack Day Korea was February 2014. So far, around 1,000 participants have joined in our event each year. But during the COVID-19, the conference was held in online. And although the number of attendees was small compared to the offline, but there are a large number of people are attended in online. So this number was counted on the day of the event, but and given that it is online, the number of people who watch the session after the event is much higher. Next, please. And finally, the OpenInfra and Cloud Native Day Korea will be held in-person event. So, when talking about OpenStack, it is impossible to talk about storage such as SAP and Cloud Native and hardware. So our conference is hosted by 4 open source infra communities. The Kubernetes and SAP are familiar to the public, but the Open Compute project will be unfamiliar. Simply put, it is a project to open source even server or hardware, including facilities. And So our conference will cover the entire open source infrastructure, including the open source hardware. Next, please. This is the first OpenStack Day in Korea. Although it was our first conference, it was sponsored by many sponsors and attended over 700 people. Next, please. Yes. Yes. This is the 2019 OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Korea. It was the same month as OpenStack birthday, so we celebrate OpenStack birthday together with the conference attendees. Next, please. From 2020, OpenInfra Days Korea moved to the online due to the COVID-19. So we used the metaverse platform. It is the Gather Town, and we gathered here to discuss about OpenInfra and have some lightning talk. So, and this year we will be able to meet community members face to face again. So I'm very looking forward to it. And there are another upcoming event in Korea user group. The first one is Upstream Contribution Mentoring Program. Actually, it is an ongoing event, but the Open Source Contribution Academy is hosted by the Ministry of Science and ICT in Korea government. That program is aimed at students and office workers who want to contribute to the open source, but doesn't know how to do that. So our user group joined this program as a project mentor and try to contribute to the OpenStack SDK and Python-OpenStack client. This is 3 months program, and after that, we will hold on local upstream training party. The second one is year-end party with Ubuntu Korea user group. For a long time ago, the Ubuntu and OpenStack Korea user group are a community of friends. So we share each community's activities for the year and talk about our plans for the next year. So we work in collaboration with other open source communities. Okay, this is on our user groups event and about OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Korea. Thank you.
Thank you, Sung-Soo. It was very interesting. I'm really excited to see how engaged the group in Korea is with all the other open source communities around. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have Dr. Chulia, who will be talking about the user group in Thailand.
Hello, everyone. My name is Apisak. We are pleased to share our experience here in Thailand about the open source community here. Today, I'd like to talk about our goal for the year 2022, and then what we have done this year and what we're going to do next until the end of the year, and how you can contact us. Okay. When we start off, the community, OpenStack community at the time, it's about 2017, and we have done a lot in those 2 years, 18, 19, and then before we got to the COVID and everything, come to a pause. So we have done those 2 years a lot in terms of trying to building the community here in Thailand. But again, our goal, just want to let you know that we want to build the Locky community here in Thailand. And the key is we want to reskill Thai workforce to become expert in open source era. There's a good number of open source, area that we need to focus on. And then we want to be a center of knowledge in open source field as well here. Okay, next please. So as I mentioned, we have done something before 2 years before COVID in terms of building the OpenStack community. And then after 2 years in hibernation, once we come out, we feel good about it. And I think we want to start what we have left off 2 years ago. So we opened the first meetup for Thailand. We call it OpenStack is blooming. Actually, when what I mean in blooming is that it has come a long way, and we want to encourage a lot of people to join us. So we use that kind of a phrase that OpenStack is blooming. In that first meetup, I talk about the past experience that we have involved with OpenStack, and then we also talk about the practice of how to do OpenStack in terms of multi-site. And then the last speaker talk about the Kubernetes on OpenStack. Those are something that we are really happy to share with our audience as well here in Thailand. Next, please. Okay, here's the atmosphere of what happened. We open up, just want to reunion the old folks that really our fans at the time. So we invite them back on site, first time on site. During COVID, we all pretty much have to do everything online. So this is the first on-site one, and we use the place nearby, close to subway, BTS, so that people can join easily here. Okay, so that's just to give you the idea. And at the time, we also organize pizza and chicken so that we can come and enjoy. Okay, that's the first meetup. Then after first meetup, we evaluate. We can't really cover a lot of people who really interested in the open source area here, and we want to focus on the infrastructure, and we look at the people that will join us. It's still a small number compared to what we would like them, what we would like to have more people to join. So we step back a little bit, and then we look at what we should do next. Then, if we're gonna have the second meetup and continue the same way, we may not be able to cover a lot of people here. And then we thought, okay, maybe we should go the other route, trying to change people when they are still in school, still in college. And that's what we are doing on the second meetup. So we target all the university here in Thailand. We separate into 3 groups, and then we start off with open source cloud ecosystem. We trying to tell them this is a new trend that you may not understand, may not see. Okay, so we start off with that, and then I think it's pretty much a success. Next one, please. And we have more than 200 people attending the event. This is the virtual event, and we have not done virtual event before in terms of meetup. And I think we are very successful to get actually 500 people sign up for it, but it's only 300 people attend the event, which is still pretty good. But most of them are from university, and we kind of give them what is should be your career path in terms of open source cloud field here. Okay, next please. And then before the third meetup, we went to Berlin. We present a paper. We opened a booth at the Berlin Summit. So when we came back, we thought, okay, what we should do? Well, maybe the third meetup, we should cover what happened in Berlin. So we said, okay, let's do it. OpenInfra Summit, Berlin recap. And again, our target audience still university student. So we kind of give them what happening in Berlin, and why so many people now still interested in doing this open source cloud area here. Next, please. Okay, here's just the atmosphere. I present a paper there, and also a booth, and then take some few souvenir picture with Mark Collier and Jonathan Bryce. Okay, next please. And okay, we're gonna have the last meetup here in Thailand, mainly in Bangkok actually. It's a meetup number 4, and it's still online, still a virtual event. We haven't come up with the topic yet, but I think we're going to do it in November before the end of the year, and that's our plan. So this year we can accomplish 4 meetups. I think we are doing pretty good in terms of trying to stimulating the OpenStack community in Thailand. Last one, please. Okay, here you can join us on Facebook group, and actually we established on October 2017. That's a little bit mistyped here. Right now we have about 2,600 members, and basically it's really share information both in Thai and I think it's in English as well. Okay, that's it. Back to you, Helena.
Thank you, Dr. Chulia. It's very interesting to hear about the community in Thailand, especially your work with the universities. You can actually read more about the OpenStack is Blooming meetup on SuperUser. There's an article there that Dr. Chulia and some of his colleagues helped put together. And next we have Dr. Hussein Chodak, who will be talking about the user group in Turkey. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Hussein Çotuk, and I am very happy to be here. Thanks for having me in this great live episode. I'm representing OpenInfra User Group Turkey today, and I'm working as a senior cloud architect at Uyumsoft in Turkey. I have a PhD degree in computer science, and I have been working with OpenStack since 2012, since the SX and Folzone versions. I'm leading the OpenStack and Ceph communities in Turkey since 2013. And I am a certified OpenStack administrator since 2016. I have got the examination during the Austin Summit. And I really love to use Ceph and OpenStack in many infrastructures in Turkey. Next slide, please. We have a meetup group in Turkey about OpenStack, and it's founded in 2014. It has more than 1,500 members, and we have organized 18 meetups and 4 different OpenInfra Days so far. You can see the different communication channels. We have a meetup group on community platform. You can find the past meetup and OpenInfra Day recordings on our YouTube channel. We have a group on LinkedIn, and you can reach us via our website and email address. Next, please. And we have also a Ceph meetup group in Turkey. It's founded in 2017, and it has more than 1,000 members now. We have organized 11 meetups so far. And likewise, OpenStack, we have a meetup group on community, and we can also share the recordings of meetups on our YouTube channel. And we have also a group on LinkedIn, and you can reach us via our website and email address. Next, please. And as OpenInfra User Group Turkey, our motivation is share our knowledge, experiences, and success stories between users of the region. And we want to extend the usage of open infrastructures within the region. We want to bring cloud experts together, and we want also to contribute to the OpenInfra ecosystem. And we want also help to find qualified human resources for different companies. Next, please. We have organized 4 different OpenStack or OpenInfra Days so far. The first one was in 2015 at Shangri-La Bosphorus Istanbul Hotel, and there were 450 attendees. In 2016, it was at Hilton Istanbul Bomonti Hotel, and we have about 650 attendees. The next one was at Wyndham Grand Istanbul Levant Hotel, and we have about 700 attendees. And the last one was at 2020 due to the corona situation all over the world, we had to organize it as a virtual event, and we had more than 500 attendees. And the next one will be at World of Wonders Convention Center, Istanbul, at October 11. Next, please. Okay, while I was speaking about the details of the event, you can scan the QR code at the right side of the screen to register to our event. It will be on October 11, and it will be at World of Wonders Convention Center. There are important supporters of this event. The National Defense Presidency of National Defense supports this organization, and one of the most important supporters of the event is Ula Haberleşme, who works about the 5G and 6G operations in Turkey. There are several public service providers, e-commerce companies, universities, academic and research infrastructures, public service providers in Turkey who uses OpenStack and Ceph, and they will also join the event. This event will be totally free to our participants, so you are all welcome to join our event. Next, please. We will have very important speakers all around the world. Thierry Carres from OpenInfra Foundation, Jose Castro-Leon from CERN, Dmitry Rabotkayev from Stickloud. The new name is Clara. James Stanton and Chris Burrow from Rackspace. Mohamed Al Sakhavi from Compute Canada. Rico Lim from Vextos. Manfred from Western Digital. Alexander from Broadcom. Mert Tokközoğlu from Vargonan Technology, and Ramazan Özdemir from Uyumsoft. Next, please. You can see some photos from our past events. Jonathan has attended several times to our past events. This time, Thierry will join. During the last virtual event, Thierry also joined our event, and this time he will also join. Next, please. You can also see some scenes from the talks and the forum panels of our last events. Next, please. Yes, next, please. We will also offer lunch and coffee breaks to our participants without any charge, with the help of our sponsors. And so it's totally free to join, and you are welcome to join us on October 11. Next, please. These are the scenes from our virtual event. This was at a virtual platform, but we actually prefer to organize our events in person, and the next one will be in person on October 11. I think that's the last. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chadok. Very interesting. I got actually a sneak peek of Thierry's keynote slides yesterday, so it looks like it's going to be a good one. Well, I'm back, everyone, and not only am I today's host, but I am actually a brand new organizer of user groups myself. So I am organizing the Austin OpenInfra user group, and we'll be having our very first meetup just in 3 weeks from today on October 13th. And it is graciously being hosted by Blizzard Entertainment at their office. We will also be streaming it to YouTube, so you can catch the meetup from wherever you are. If you would like to join us in person, there are a few spots left, so make sure you register, and you can find all those details on our meetup page. We will also have a post-meetup pizza hour that is being hosted by Rackspace. The agenda for the meetup includes a talk that will be done by Kendall Nelson from the OpenInfra Foundation, as well as hardening security with AMD SEV technologies on OpenStack from AMD, and scaling private clouds with Nova Cells from Rackspace. So join us at the Blizzard office on YouTube, or grab a slice of pizza with Rackspace. This is my first meetup, so I'm actually going to bring the veterans back and ask them a few questions and maybe get a little advice on what I can do for my meetup. So I'd like to welcome everyone back on camera. Okay, cool. Before we start, there was actually one comment in the comment section from Jimmy, and I think it was for Song-Soo. He was asking, how many people have taken the Open Source Contribution Academy course so far?
As I know, there are over 30 OpenStack projects involved, and each project has 15 to 20 mentees. So, and the OpenStack project has 15 mentees. So totally, there are over 300 people are joining this program and learn how to contribute to the open source.
Wow, that's very cool. Actually, it kind of goes into one of my other questions. I know yourself and Dr. Julia, you've also partnered with universities with your open source cloud ecosystem meetup. I'd like to know a little bit like how you guys got started with that. Dr. Julia, do you want to say?
Oh, here we go. Okay. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, actually, when we do the OpenStack community at the time, we always have online face-to-face, but we forgot about it. Wait a minute, we can do virtual, right? Then might as well we should change our direction a little bit. So and then also, like I said, you know, when you want to promote to the users that kind of new to the OpenStack, how to convince them to join. I know there's so many areas in IT industry, but how we can get them to interest in our what we are doing in this community. That's how it start with the thinking itself. When the thinking start, then you start contacting all the university, and that's how it gets started. So that's for me, that's the way it is.
Very interesting. And Song-Soo, what universities in Korea are you working with?
I'm working at the Kongung University in Korea.
Very interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Another question I have also for you, Song-Soo, and as well for you, Alvaro. You are managing working with many open source communities. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that.
Yes. The OpenStack Korea user group are collaborating with other open source communities, such as the Ubuntu Korea user group and SEP and Kubernetes and the other communities. We made our own Slack workspace to talk to the organizer of that community. So through this channel, we help each other if someone did to anything for their user group event, and if we promote the event to their user group. So we collaborate and talk each other with our own Slack channels.
Yeah, and for us is pretty much the same between the four organizers. Every one of us have like a special projects. So I started like a big fan of CEF. We have other organizers that they were in the main project that built the first open. It's like the public cloud based on OpenStack here in Latin America. They work on that project. So Gloria, she's like the community manager for the Docker Friends and Kubernetes here in Mexico. So every time that we have like a technology that we want to talk about, we try to like use the other like communities to ramp up that talk. And everyone that wants to give a special talk, or if we have people that they want to talk on any kind of any kind of technologies, we try to put it in the correct like user groups for the people to reach more like more attendees from the same topic. And like I said, we use the other user group to ramp up the talk. And we try to, like I said, we use that Slack, and for us, it's like the main source to talk with the community, because it's open. We don't, I don't, if Slack is going to, like, people from the Slack is going to see this one, they're not going to like it, but we don't pay for it. And the URL that I put it in the slide, we managed to get an URL that is, you can use that to out to invite you to join to Slack. So we have a bunch of people in there. So every time that any like company wants to give a talk here in Mexico or in Chile or whatever, we're trying to use the same Slack to reach out other like people across Latin America. So we try to use the other user groups in that way.
Very interesting. We also have one more question that just came up in the comment section from LinkedIn. Is there anything maintainers of OpenStack software, docs, etc., can help enable you all to succeed more in these kinds of meetups? Perhaps Dr. Chuduk, do you have a comment on that question? I think personally, one of the things that this can easily plug into is all our user groups are always looking for more speakers. There are always opportunities to speak all across the globe. And one of the ways we can actually help you plug into speaking opportunities is if you email us at community@openinfra.dev, we can connect you with a user group in your area. I don't know, does anyone else have comments or ideas?
Yeah, I would like to say something about it, because like I said, this was this OpenInfra Day that we managed to get here in Mexico City was like the first one hosted by the community. So when I was working in the company that was hosting like OpenStack Days and whatever, it was a really bit easy for us to get speakers, because we use the homepage of OpenStack to start looking for people, and we have like a directory of a bunch of developers or architects or whatever. But I believe that list right now is not up to date. So it's like when I wanted to invite people, it was like first for the people that I know of, and then I reach out to you and like Allison, I start like asking for more like speakers, but it would be a good idea to start like get that list up to date, and it will be easy for like community managers to reach out more, like I said, developers, architects, whatever.
Yeah, it's actually an active project the foundation is working on, is that list. So you'll see updates to that very soon.
I also want to contribute to this question. As you mentioned, the most challenging part of organizing a meetup is finding a speaker. But if OpenInfra or OpenStack maintainers can organize sessions about how to be a member of OpenInfra Foundation, or how to get listed on OpenStack marketplace on the website, it will be good for our community who wants to get listed on the OpenStack marketplace.
Any other comments on the question? Or I have a few more questions we can run through quickly. Okay, cool. One of my other questions to wrap it up is, since this is my very first meetup, I would love to get some advice from y'all on like anything that you've had in the past that maybe didn't work or worked very well for your meetups or OpenInfra Days. I'd love to hear about that.
I can mention something about it. I believe the first and really great idea that you had with your user group is, I don't know, people like us that really enjoys talking about open source projects were really like talks that ended up with beer and pizza. So that is a really good idea at first. And I believe the main one, because there is a bunch of people that sometimes don't really know about the projects, and they are like, oh yeah, let's just, I don't know, let's just go to this place and hear about technologies, and free pizza and free beer is really a good idea all the time.
Yeah, that's great to hear. One of the things I've noticed, at least from OpenInfra Live, is that the more technical the talk, the better engagement we get. Do you think that when the talks at meetups are more technical, they get engagement, or are the talks that are more like 101 kind of introductory talks, do those get better engagement?
For me, I'm sorry if I jump in on all the questions. Is like meetups. In my experience, like when we started like giving meetups about like OpenStack, Ceph, Docker, and Kubernetes, if you are going to have just one talk, it's not a good idea to do it like heavily technical, because they are like a safe space to start learning about new technologies, and it's not as good like just learning from like new technologies with really technical topics. One thing that we started doing to like try to bore people about it, we had like two sessions. Like one, it will be like into like in some way one-on-one about the technology, and the other one, it will be like really technical. So
Yeah.
in that way, we have like interesting like topics to talk to all kind of people that want to learn a little bit more, and people that already know about the technology but wants to learn like really deep on some specific technology.
Makes sense. So have a little bit of both is the best. Yeah. Cool.
Helena, let me answer your first question before that. So, you know, I have experience doing this 2 years before COVID, and then now this year we start working on this again. From my experience, really, when you work with the people that they don't really know much about OpenStack, maybe some do, but they may touch it on just some surface. But remember, OpenStack and Ceph is very complicated, very complex software, and in order to get those people to come and join, I mean, you can throw them some kind of idea of what this is about, but to get people to really join you to come to the meetup, you gotta spread around to cover the base as big as you can, because what you need are the people who are really have passion. My what the thing that I found out about this area is that we need to get the people who have passion. Without passion, it's hard to get them involved deeply. You know what I mean? So this is something that I learned from it. And to answer your second question about the technical, I think technical is always good, no matter what. But depend on the stage of your meetup. If you just begin the meetup, the stage should be like, you know, kind of give them what it can be done with this, why it's so useful for the community, why it's useful for the country, and then you move up the next level. I think one-on-one is always, you know, it's possible. You can contact the people when we have meetup. They can contact anyone on the list. They can, you know, talk to him directly. But I think to begin with, just basics, and then let's get technical later on, down the road here. Just my view.
Yeah, that's great advice, especially the thing about finding passionate users and operators. I mean, that's huge without you guys who are so passionate about the project, we wouldn't even have the user groups. So thank you.
I know everyone here, they is so passionate about this. You got to admit that no one would come this far and still sit here and talk about it. Believe me. Thank you guys. I know you're all very passionate about this thing. Really. Love it.
So, does anyone else have any comments on the question?
Yes.
Oh, you
So
go
go on,
first.
please.
Okay. In my experience, this is what I say to the first time organizing event who want to organizing the event. So it is always important to start small and simple. Maybe you maybe want to grand the event, a lot of talks and attendees and food or something else. But it is important to get experience while solving various situations that occurs while running an event. So if it is large, it won't be respond appropriately. So small and simple is very important for the first time. You can control the situation in the case. So I always tell people preparing for their first meetup to start with a group of 20 or 30s. That is very, very small and you can control the situations.
That's great to hear, because actually my meetup is looking right now to be around 15 people or so. So glad I'm on the right track with that one. Thank you. Dr. Chuduk, what was it you wanted to say?
Yeah. If you want to increase the number of participants to your meetup, I think it's very important to choose a central location because it really impacts the number of attendees. Participants should access the location easily, I think, to join the meetup. And in terms of organizing the meetup, we prefer to choose more technical sessions actually, and we prefer to organize the events in person rather than virtual. Making connections is very important for sharing information later, and you can interact with these connections later. And we also organize QA sessions only with free topics. Participants can ask anything they want about OpenStack or Ceph during the session. We organize a QA only session, and they can ask anything about OpenStack or Ceph. Maybe you can consider such a session.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, I love that. The central location thing is huge, especially I was thinking about it in Austin. I mean, most central you can get in Austin is downtown, but we have pretty sparse parking than downtown. So a little bit out of downtown where we have bigger parking lots, I think, is where our key spot is. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for sharing with us. And I wanted to say thank you for being here, and thank you for our passionate organizers, because without you, we wouldn't have user groups and we wouldn't have such great community engagement. So thank you for both of those things today. Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
Awesome. Well, I have a couple slides I wanted to run through to wrap up things real quick. As you have heard from our amazing user group organizers today, we have not only these few representing, but our global footprint is much bigger. So there are user groups all over the world you can get involved in, from North Carolina to Colombia to the Netherlands, Korea, China, and everything in between. So if you are looking for a user group in your area, you can go to meetup.com/pro/OpenInfraDev to find more information. And as mentioned, we are always looking for speakers for user groups and OpenInfra Days. So a good way is if you update your Speakers Bureau profile, as well as you can reach out to us at community@openinfra.dev if you're interested in speaking opportunities. You heard a bit today about the OpenInfra Days Turkey coming up in October, as well as OpenInfra and Cloud Native Days Korea coming up in November. There are also a few other community events coming up. We have the Commonwealth Computational Summit in October that is being hosted by the University of Kentucky and will include multiple OpenStack related sessions. And in November, we have Kubernetes Community Days and OpenInfra Days Indonesia at the end of November. And registration for that is currently open. In December, the OpenInfra, Cloud Native, Magma, and Hyperledger community are getting together in India. Registration and the CFP for that will be opening up very soon. Lastly, or not quite last, one more after this. Well, next we have PTG, which will be October 17th through 21st. And this is a great way if you are interested in getting involved with the technical community. You can find a full list of teams that will be involved in this event, as well as registration information at openinfra.dev/PTG. And next, the OpenInfra Summit. We are headed to the land of maple syrup in June, which, by the way, a maple syrup and pancake breakfast mentoring speed session is something you can actually sponsor. And we have registration and sponsorship opportunities, visa information, as well as travel support program is all live now on openinfra.dev/summit. The CFP for that will be opening up November 15th, so stay tuned for that. And we hope to see you in Canada. Lastly, we have next week on OpenInfra Live, large-scale ops deep dive with Schwartz Group. So join us next week on Thursday for the next episode of OpenInfra Live at 1400 UTC. And as always, if you have an idea for our next episode of OpenInfra Live, you can submit those to ideas.openinfra.live, and we hope to see you on a future show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and thank you to our amazing OpenInfra organizers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.